Namaste, everyone. And thank you to Sahilji, Shobitji, and to the whole Rashtram team. I've been given 2 to 3 minutes, so I'll try to keep it brief. And I would really like to thank Shri Sonam Wangchukji because his talk was very insightful. And I'm based in Melbourne, Australia, so I'd like to keep my spiel a little personal. And this Rashtram is an extraordinary institution, a fabulous foundation. And my journey with it has also been similarly extraordinary. Now, I thought I'd share some points as a diaspora outside of India. I'm a third generation Hindu, a third generation Indian, and my Dadaji grandfather left Bharat in the 1920s. So it's coming to my family 100-year centenary. But you may be surprised. The Indian diaspora outside of Bharat are very passionate about Bharat. They're very interested in keeping connected. They're very interested in wanting to contribute, but very often they simply don't know how to. Now, I grew up in a very traditional British town. My grooming had been done in a very traditional English education system. My medical school was through King's College London, yet my interest with the indigenous civilizational aspect had always been present. And again, I had not many opportunities growing up as I now have, and I'm very privileged to be part of the Rashtram leadership team. I want to share some anecdotes and I want to leave a message for the Rashtram leadership to ponder on from a diaspora perspective. Now, Shobitji published a very nice article on the potential of Indian diaspora for nation building and Bharat. There are 31 million individuals of us outside of Bharat. That is not insignificant. Many high caliber individuals in the UK. You have Rishi Sunak as the Chancellor of the Exchequer, a recently inaugurated Member of Parliament in New Zealand, Dr. Gaurav Sharma. The Indians, Hindus outside of Bharat are now really coming to the forefront. When I was growing up, one aspect which was always missing is institutions. Not just institutions, though. In fact, I want to take that back. There were lots of institutions, but there was a complete lack of strategic institutions. And I'll give you an example. In King's College, when I was a final year medical student, we were doing a ward round. And one of my co-medical students, she was of Jewish background. She shared, oh, I'm going to Harvard University. And we were obviously quite impressed at the time. We said, okay, why, how? And she said, oh, I know the professor, he's Jewish. Now, what that highlighted is the ecosystem and the institutionalization of influence that has been created in other communities, other nations. And this is where I feel Rashtram is playing a very significant role. Knowledge systems, all of those ideas are crucial. Policy making, making leaders in every area of society are indeed very crucial. But one aspect which Sonam Wangchukji touched upon, and I feel very passionate because a lot of us overlook this when we plan for leadership grooming, when we are talking about civilizational wisdom, is mindset. I can tell you even now, the colonizational mindset in our diaspora overseas can be quite evident, and not just overseas, even in Bharat, as all of you have mentioned previously. Simply demonstrating how scientific our knowledge systems are, simply demonstrating that our systems work, in my mind, is not enough. Very often we rush to justify. If there is something of an achievement from our civilizational background or ancestry, I have found we often rush to justify and show the world, look, this works. There is this background, this support system, there is this evidence. Now, having evidence is crucial. I myself come from an academic background, so research, sound research, evidence-based is absolutely crucial. I am not negating it, but presenting that in an objective manner and presenting it in a manner to justify our previous achievements and existing knowledge systems are two very different but subtle differences. And what I would urge Rashtram to consider in this movement, in this institutionalization work moving forward, is to almost dedicate a bit of research work or some active grooming in the mindset region. Very often we quote Indian diaspora as being role models for overseas citizens. We are law abiding, absolutely. We have done the highest rates of educational achievements overseas. We are law abiding, we are professional. But what happens is, in the name of integration, we become diluted. And very few people understand the difference between integration and dilution. I am all up for integration. We value ourselves overseas as integrating with society, but I am not an advocate for diluting our civilizational, indigenous knowledge systems or our thought processes at the altar of someone else's knowledge system, without having an intellectual conversation and having a very rigorous process through which curiosity, questions, experiences occur. So really, I know my time's going to be up soon. My humble request to everybody is, in the midst of doing this fantastic work with policy making, leadership in political realms, academia, social, community, grassroots level work, let's put a bit of attention to the mindset. Why do we as Bharatiyas have such low self-esteem? We could have a weekend conference on this. But these are just some thoughts I was very keen to leave with all of you. Rashtram is doing tremendous work, and in the next 1 year until our next annual function day, I would like to see more achievements, more collaborations, and more grassroots level work done overseas. Being diaspora, I feel that is where I will contribute to Rashtram as well as to Bharat. And just to finish off, again, in Shobhitji's article, there was a fabulous proposition of having, for example, a shadow cabinet of Bharatiyas living overseas to be involved with Bharat's nation building exercise. I really hope Rashtram can play a key role in this. So on that note, I'd like to thank all of the Rashtram institutions, the leadership, and a very humble namaskar from myself in Australia. Thank you very much.